we're going to Total Valenzuela, and we have like weekly meetings, or Tambays as we call them, in our club. So let's go and have some fun. It rained from my place to make Hawaiian, so had to stop over, clean the camera, of course clean the bike. As you can see in the Philippines, well, most urban places, I think, are always flooded. So it's a pain in the ass for motorists, for riders, but we can live with it. Alright, so make Hawaiian to Valenzuela is gonna like take 15-20 minutes from here. Let's see what happens. Alright. Fucking jeepney. I always think of jeepneys as big flies, horse flies, and buses as whales. Now, buses and jeeps aren't actually bad for everybody, but when the drivers start to drive like douchebags, then it's a different thing. Oh, there's so many riders now. Most of the riders in the Philippines usually are commuters, and meaning they use their bikes for work, going places, not really for sports. Speaking of riders and drivers, some motorcyclists, or riders as we call them, think they could race on the road. So that's one of the dangers in motorcycling here in the Philippines. It's either you race, you get challenged to race, and if you do, then that's dangerous. Yep, as you can see, all of these riders coming home from work. Most of them have the annoying big pipes. You know, that's one thing that I really don't get from riders of backbone style motorcycles, scooters, and whatnot. They'd rather have noisy pipes than quiet ones. Of course, there's a bit of performance gain, I guess, with having an open pipe, but having them generally is a pain in every neighborhood's ears. So there really is a confusion between styling your bike to look like a race bike and actually sounding like one. Yeah, we know scooters, underbones, they're quite powerful for the roads that we have here, but riders make them so fucking dangerous. Alright, so look at this guy. When you have an obstacle that big in front of you, even if you're not on the freeway, I'm just in the highway, by the way. If you're not on the freeway, you should try to look for gaps wherein you could really come through. But just a word of caution, of course, you know overtaking on the right side is one of the most dangerous fucking things a motorist could ever do. One of these buses almost caught me on the right side because he was trying to unload a passenger, or load passengers, I should say. And of course, I was riding with a couple of guys, my friends basically, and they saw that. So what they did was they really raced over in front of the bus and tried to, you know, give the bus a sign, a fuck you sign. Yeah, that's the way it is here. Yeah, but you know, you can't blame them. They're making a living out of driving, but the not so good thing about it is their safety isn't their concern anymore, often than not. I've seen quite a number of vloggers I've seen stupid. I've seen a number of vloggers do these things, and if you note how wide and beautiful their roads are, that's not quite the case here in the Philippines. You have these instances, these tight spaces every single day, well, except for Sunday, of course. I don't know why. It's probably because there's too many vehicles on the road, or just plain drivers aren't that, you know, good in the Philippines. I don't want to diss them, but generally, yes, drivers tend to find better ways to be ahead of the other. But the problem with that is, of course, anarchy. As you can see, this Jeep is trying to stay on the right side of the road, of the four-lane highway, and that would be because passengers would be waiting on every single available slot on the pedestrian side, and hoping to get any Jeep. So this has been a culture of the Philippines ever since the inception of the Jeep. Maybe I wasn't born yet, but yeah, as far as I remember, jeepneys have been behaving, or drivers at least of jeepneys have been behaving like this since I was a little child. I don't remember a time where they had like discipline. Well, from time to time you could see one or two or three Jeeps following the road rules, but yeah, mostly Jeeps are bad. And I couldn't just blame jeepneys for this. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, but often, it could be because passengers are unruly as well. So passengers would be waiting on non-waiting sheds, but they would be waiting everywhere, and Jeeps would really come up to them, and you know, they want to be the first to get you as passengers. So it's a contest of sorts, who gets the most number of passengers, because of course that's their way of living. But the way they do it is sometimes fucking horrible. Oh. side, fucker! Don't do that. Don't do that. I was a douche. I just didn't want to stop, you know. I was in 4th gear and just decelerating. Alright. Okay. See this ship? I hate them. They just stop everywhere. Stop in the middle of the road. Cross over the road. You know, things that piss me off. Oh. Yeah. So that's it. Philippine roads, Philippine riders, they should not be mixing, but and that is why a number of accidents involving motorcycles riders are between bikes and jeeps, and if not jeeps, buses. So it often is very deadly, fatal. But you know, what could you do? People are riding bikes, commuter bikes, to and from work. But sometimes there are riders who, despite being given licenses to drive motorcycles, seem to be untrained for the road. No, I'm not saying I'm the perfect rider, but there's some way worse riders than myself. Okay, I survived that. Now it's only like a kilometer or so from the meeting area. By the way, the club that I'm included in, or I am a member in, I'm mumbling, sorry, is called Bull Riders, and we are actually a chapter of Club CB110. It's a club grouping riders who have Honda CB110s, and fortunately, or rather unfortunately, I upgraded my motorcycle in less than like 2 years. So, but even though I upgraded, I still participate in the club and in the chapter. And in fact, tonight we would be celebrating one back rider's birthday. Hey there, Malu, happy birthday. You know, we establish relationships between riders and between the back riders. It's very often that the back riders really are the better halves, or girlfriends of riders, etc., etc. So there's a big plus for them to get involved. We made that happen because we wanted riders to have no guilt coming into club meetings on Saturday nights, and we don't want their girlfriends or wives thinking that we're taking away precious, valuable fucking time with their boyfriends or husbands. So we just involve them, and so far it's been successful, mostly. I say mostly because sometimes girls have fights over little things. Sometimes, but generally they get together well. And hey, I'm here, SM Valenzuela, yippee! And right about the right is where we meet up on a rotational basis during Saturdays. I guess I'm the earliest guy around, and shit, the first guy. Yep, have to fix my parking, you fucker.